Hello everyone, welcome to Bedtime Yoga. So today's sequence will help make your sleep more restful and more productive so that you wake up feeling totally refreshed and also just not as tight in the morning. It's a good way to open up everything so that tomorrow goes better and tonight as well. For today's practice, the only thing I think I would use for props, I've got 3 blankets here. If you like other things, of course, grab those and we'll get started. So today, let's get started in whatever pose feels the most comfortable. I recommend child's pose. So big toes together and knees either together or apart, whatever's more comfortable. And then lower your forehead down to either the floor or a block. Your arms can be wherever they're most comfortable. So either ahead of you or along your sides, palms facing up. And close the eyes. We'll take a few moments here and allow your mind to become quiet. Making a clear delineation from all that happened today. And letting your body know this is your time to recuperate, and to get settled. And take the next few moments to set an intention for your practice. So maybe that's to have a restful sleep, or maybe it's to gain a little bit of flexibility. Maybe you're looking for a more energetic day tomorrow. Whatever your intention is, take a moment to instill that now. Just think about that. Let that resonate. And slowly start to make your way all the way up and back to a downward facing dog. So up through hands and knees, tuck the toes under, hips press up and back. So this is a famous pose, or famous for being energetic. So we don't want to be here too long, but instead of thinking about how it's going to be energizing, think about how we're feeling that nice length in the backs of the legs and maybe in the shoulders as you reach your heart towards your feet. And then slowly lower down through the hands and knees. And then back to seated once again, and we'll head into our first real posture that we'll hold for a bit. Heading into Baddha Konasana, otherwise known as butterfly pose. So we'll bring the soles of the feet together. Allow the knees to lower down to the sides. Support them if you need to with a block or blankets, whatever you need. And I'll get our timer started here. We're not here too long. We've got 2-minute holds for this evening's practice. If you're able to move forward, go ahead and do that. I like blankets just for like coziness. And softening, even close the eyes. So when you're doing a practice right before bed, we often talk about finding your edge in yin yoga. For bedtime yoga, don't let your edge be quite so far. We don't want to wake up the nervous system. We want to quiet it down. So do feel a stretch, sure, but a really soft, gentle stretch. So less than you would normally feel in the yin practice or a morning practice or in any other practice. Using whatever props you need to prop you up so you don't have to use muscle strength to stay there. And closing the eyes. Slowly start to come all the way out. We'll prepare for straddle, so we'll step the feet apart as far as they'll go. I like to have my heels on a little blanket because it's softer that way. So step those feet apart and then slowly melt into it, exact same thing. So softening, melting, gentle stretch. So not going as far as you normally would. Remember to close the eyes. It helps us to not find distraction, but really go within, starting to calm the nervous system. And let our body know it's soon time for sleep. One of the benefits to stretching right before bed is the increased blood flow and circulation, though. So it'll make our night more efficient as our kidneys work to detox overnight. All of that stuff that happens without us having to think about it will just happen more smoothly, more effectively, more efficiently. Slowly, slowly start to come out. In my bedtime yoga, I like to, even moving between poses, move with a more gooey kind of a feel. The next one up is shoelaces. So for this one, we bend the left leg underneath the right, and then the right leg over top, trying to stack one knee on top of the other. For most of us, we need to be up on a blanket, maybe two, maybe three, or maybe a block. And if you've kind of gotten to like to this point here, and you have a little bit more flexibility, it's nice to come up and kind of scooch the knees together and then sit back. Once you've found your position, soften. So if you're still not feeling a stretch, feel free to fold forward, or another variation I quite like is leaning back. So it's also a bit of an increased stretch if you've got a bit more flexibility. But either way, looking for just that gentle, gentle stretch, even closing the eyes. Don't worry about your posture, honestly. Just soften, soften, soften. To come out of this one, you can either unfold the legs in front of you or come up through hands and knees and just switch sides. So this time left leg is on top of right. So however you get into this posture, maybe you start the same way with your knees bent, right leg goes underneath left, left on top, scooching as much as needed to get those knees one on top of the other. Maybe up on your blankets or block. Remember, it's not about how far you're going into the pose, but how much you're feeling it. That's another reason why I like to close my eyes in a yin practice or in a bedtime practice so that nothing's distracting me and I'm not worried about how far I'm into it. Just feeling a gentle stretch, not too much. Very, very gentle. And slowly, slowly come on out. And then from here, we'll head into reverse plank. So bring your feet forward as you're seated, hands behind you, fingers pointing forward, and then straighten through the arms. So usually in this pose, we would lift the hips, but for bedtime yoga, I recommend keeping the hips on the floor. Feel the stretch maybe in the shoulders, lift the heart up to the sky. I feel the stretch in the wrists and even the hands a little bit, but remember gentle, so less stretch than usual. Just a few deep breaths here. We're not here very long. And come on up. Preparing for fire log, or sometimes known as square pose in yin. Bend the knees, and then cross your right ankle over the left knee. So left foot is on the floor, right ankle crossed over with that knee turned out. If that's not stretching, then you can move forward. If it is stretching, stay. So if you're not feeling a stretch, leaning up. If you're still not feeling a stretch, then it's time to scooch that bottom foot inward. And then you can place a block or something beneath the supporting knee or the top knee, whatever you need. And then eventually you've got ankle over knee and knee over ankle. We'll get our timer started. If the knees feel any discomfort at all, you need to back out of it until they're 100% okay. This one you can also try leaning back a bit for a weird stretch or leaning forward for a greater stretch. Wherever you're at, gentle stretch, and then close the eyes. Thinking of softness. So whatever doesn't need to be working, soften there. Even the neck, letting it relax and soften. Slowly, slowly. Come on out. And then switching sides. So this time left, crossing over right. And once again, take the same care and attention as the first side. When you feel a stretch, hold. Of course, softening, softening as much as possible. And slowly, slowly coming all the way out. Next posture is plow pose, and again, it's known as snail. So this one, I like to have a blanket just beneath my whole pose so that my spine is nice and cushy. So I'm just going to set up my blankets here. If this is not a pose that you feel comfortable doing, then by all means just skip it, or instead lay on your back, feet high to the sky. If you know and are comfortable with plow pose, go ahead and head in. And we'll get our timer started. So hips go up and over. If you need to come out early, absolutely by all means. Otherwise, we're almost done. And to come out, keep the neck exactly where it is. Use the arms as landing gear and slowly, slowly, one vertebra at a time, release and keep the spine in neutral for just a few moments, either with the knees bent and feet off the floor or with the feet on the floor. Just take a moment. Allow the spine, the whole back to feel heavy. And then we'll head into our very last pose of the night. So this one's often known as fish pose. I'm just shifting slightly, don't mind me. Okay, here we go. Extend the legs down to the ground, arms along your sides, palms facing down, looking straight up to the ceiling. Then press into the elbows as you lift the heart up high to the sky. Then, as you're propped up on the forearms, lower your crown of your head down to the floor, but really lift up through the heart. So this is a back bend. This is opposite to what we were just doing in our plow. Reaching, lifting, but we're not here long. Opening up through the heart. It's already 3, 4, and 5. Lowering back down, and we're ready to sneak right into Shavasana. So if your back requires a little extra support today, feel free to keep those knees bent with the feet on the floor and allow the knees to tip in towards each other. Otherwise, extend the legs, arms along your sides, palms facing up, and close the eyes. Softening everything, everything. But especially through the neck and the shoulders and all the way down the arms, letting the fingers softly curl. Softening through the face, softening around the eyes, and even the muscle between the eyes. Just letting it all go. Perhaps you'd like to stay a little longer or even fall right to sleep from here. Otherwise, starting to come back, wiggling fingers and toes, nice and slow as you gently roll your head from side to side. And reaching your arms above head on the floor for a big stretch. Still feeling nice and zen and calm. Then bend your knees in one at a time and gently roll over to the right side, but pause for a few moments here, even a little longer than usual. And when you feel ready, start to press yourself all the way up to a comfortable seated position, taking all the time you need. And when you arrive, palms facing up on the knees, inhale, sitting up tall, and exhale, softly close your eyes. And just taking your final moments here to remember your intention for your practice, feeling that resonate within you for a few moments. And slowly open the eyes. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a really good rest of your night and a really good sleep. See you next time.